This is the article that we're going to talk about. So the scam is almost always the same. When I hear a customer call us, and right now we get 1 to 2 phone calls a month still over this. And so it's just our intent to bring awareness to this. It's almost always the same. It's a cash and carry sell. So somebody's calling up asking for some product that they need really quick. They're out on site on some kind of an installation, usually at an apartment complex or a motel or something where they ran out of product and they need some product really fast. And do you have anything in stock? It doesn't really matter what it is. It's usually a hard surface product. That's because they can get more money out of you by that way. And so they're looking for something, and they'll say something like, hey, I'll have my installer come over and pick it up really quick, and I give you my credit card. And so you're either taking the credit card over the phone, or you're sending them a sales order by email with a Pay Now button on it. And either one of those, they're giving you a stolen credit card that actually will go through because the person that owns the credit card doesn't know that it's been stolen yet. Okay? And so that's kind of the scam that's happening. And, it's usually a 2,000, they'll try to see if they can get it to go through for 2,000 first. And then if you accept that and if you deliver the product, then they'll call you back a day later. Hey, I need that worked out perfectly. I need more of that. And then they'll get you more towards the $10,000 mark. It's funny. It's somewhere between $8,000 to $12,000 almost every time on the second go around. So they'll just see how good you are at first and make it not too much and get you really excited because it went well the first time, and then emotion takes over, and then you just go for the next round of it. Okay? And so you got to be really careful. Any cash and carry deals, okay? Really, really careful. Let me tell you really quick about the extreme of what happened to one of our customers. They weren't aware of this scam, and they actually had 2 people hitting them at the same time. So one person at one apartment complex and one, at a hotel or something, but they had 2 different names. Anyway, the customer started giving them product and started taking orders and running these credit cards. And within about 10 days, they ran 8 credit cards for just about $80,000. Okay. In the end, they only lost about 20,000 of product that they actually delivered. So they didn't lose the whole 80,000 because they caught it before they delivered a lot more of the other product. But that wasn't the bad part. The 20,000 was minimal in comparison to what I'm going to tell you what happened next. Because they continued to take bad credit cards and were not checking it out and just took $80,000 in bad credit cards, the credit card processing company immediately shut down their account where they could not process any credit cards anymore, which, fine. But then the next thing that happened is they get put on a blacklist in the industry, the credit card industry, which prevents them from going and opening up any other credit card accounts. So no longer can they charge a credit card on their current account, and no longer can they go open up a new account because they are flagged as being somebody that is not careful and is taking fraudulent credit cards, and the risk is too high to open up an account for them. Okay, so bad things can happen in this thing, and I'm giving you the extreme, but I'm just telling you and trying to counsel with you and make you aware that the dealers are responsible for any stolen credit cards that they take. If they don't, they're the ones that are responsible for vetting this out. Now, what can you do in this article? I'm not going to go through every single thing, but there are ideas in here that can help protect you. You can take your time to come back to this article and look at it in further detail, but, make sure they're coming to you in person. Looking at driver's licenses, comparing them to credit cards, getting license plates on cars. A lot of times they're going to replace their license plates, so that doesn't even matter. Get the number for the bank, call the bank directly yourself, and have them validate with the person that they are indeed buying floor covering for a large amount of money. These are all the things that you can kind of do. This one down here, never do an ACH or e-check or any kind of a check when you're doing cash and carry like this. So it's even worse. So anyway, there's a few ideas that you can look at there. Any questions about this scam? Doesn't look like anybody has logged any questions, but I just wanted to touch on this just before we get going. Anytime we can spread the awareness about this, I think it's important to do so. Okay, let's hop on down to Installer View now. Okay, so Installer View, it's a new product that we have, and the whole idea here is to allow installers to be able to see their upcoming jobs on their phones or on their computers or their iPads or whatever they use to access the internet. Okay. Right now, this is not a replacement for work orders. So we don't give all of the information, like the exact address and some things like that. The reason is because this product, it's not always 100% in sync with QFloors. I would say 90% of the time it is. But, there's some times where it's not exactly synced because it's a delayed thing, and the other part of this is if we were to sync it 100% of the time, I really feel like it would degrade the user experience in QFloors because we have to transfer that information out into the internet so it can be seen by all of this. And every time we do one of those transfers, there's a slight delay. Sometimes that delay is a little bit longer than others, depending on internet connections. So we're kind of doing the best we can to make this product still have a great user experience in QFloors, and also allow for this additional experience to have your installers be able to see their stuff. So what are we talking about here, right? So we have a new website called Installer View, and you can get to it by qconnect.qfloors.com Installer View. And this is where you will actually log in. Now there's two different logins when you get to this point. One is the admin login, which the administrator can see all the information for all the installers, and they can set up the installers. And and then there's the installer specific login, which is just the one that you're going to give out to them, where they only see their own jobs. Both the admin and the installers come to the same website, okay, to log in. So I'm going to come in here as the admin first. There'll be a username and password. And this admin username and password we give to you when you sign up. Okay? All right. So you can see that I come up to a calendar that I can see here now when I log in. And when you first come in and are first coming into here, you're going to want to set up your installers. So you can see underneath this menu right here, when I click on installers like this, it'll bring up a list of your installers. And this is where you're either going to add new ones in here with this add button right here. Okay, you'll put in a name that's very specific to them. A user ID, this is what they will use to log in with. I would suggest an email address. This needs to be unique. It cannot be the same user ID as somebody even in another company. So let's say that one of our other customers has an installer named John. and you have one named John, and both of you tried to use that user ID, it will not work. Okay? So that's why I would use either a phone number or an email address. Either one of those will work for a user ID and make it kind of unique. Okay? And then you can give them whatever password you want. It doesn't have to be extremely secure, because what they're able to do is not terribly private, but so make it one that they can remember pretty easily. I would not go in and put a bunch of symbols and numbers and, stuff like that. I would make it one that they can remember pretty easily. Okay. The employee ID is coming from QFloors. So you would look up their employee ID number from QFloors. So if we come over to QFloors on the employee screen, that's going to be this ID right here. Okay. All right. So that goes into here, and then you have the option to show their costs, what they're going to be paid, coming from the QFloors job costing screens. You can either show that or not show that. And then each installer can have their own color. Okay. So then you would hit submit, and it will add it into this screen here. You can see that I've already added a couple. If you need to edit one that's already here, this is the edit button right here. Okay. And you can go back and change whatever you need to at the same screen. You'll notice down here it says 4 of 20 installers. If you're using QPay, the number of installers is unlimited. If you're not a QPay customer, then it actually costs more and things of that. I'll get to that at the end. But if you're QPay, you should have unlimited installers in here. Okay. So that's how you go ahead and set up an installer. Okay. Once you set them up, as you let me see here. Then the other thing that you can do is we have 2 other views of the jobs that will start coming into the installer view. We have a calendar view. Let me just look at that one first. So you can see it looks like a calendar here, and you would be able to see jobs that you've scheduled in QFloors, and I'll talk a little bit about how QFloors works here in a second, but you can see that the different installers will be able to see their different jobs. The different colors refer to different installers. If you click on one of these jobs here, it'll allow you to come down and start to see more of the details. Okay? And so this is kind of a semi-detailed thing here. If I click again, it will give me all of the details that are going on right there. Okay? With that job, it shows you the different lines in QFloors and the details within QFloors for that. Okay? This is the part that I'm telling you might not be synced up exactly all the time. And it just has to do with somewhat of the delay of the information being shown, but it will give you pretty accurate information on what's going on. Okay? You can see that this job is actually split into 2 different days in QFloors, so part of it's going to be done on the 25th and part of it on the 30th. Okay? And then as you change stuff in QFloors, it will obviously change. So the other part of this is that we have what's called our jobs list. Okay? So there's a calendar and a jobs list. This gives you a list of all the different jobs that are in here for everybody. We have these search filters up here where you can search by different, people and, different dates and things of that nature, right? Let's see. I didn't ask here. There's a sorting also here, so you can then sort by installers. Okay. The dates, installer names, all this kind of stuff. The sorting, you can do it here. There's a reset button to reset all the filters and things of that nature. Okay. Ryan, I've got Ryan on here also. Ryan, is there a way to sort just by a certain installer right now? Can you filter by an installer name?
You can search by that search. Will search all the fields that are displaying there.
Uh-huh. So if I just wanted
Or
to see one installer,
yes, or you can change that search by that drop down there.
and then it
You
does
could
it
search
that way.
by just the installer name,
The installer name. Okay, got it.
and that would make sure that you're just searching by that field.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
And so this is where you can search. The other thing that you can do here, kind of the more advanced thing that we have going on, and I'm gonna, you can come here and you can, on one of these lines that have been scheduled already, you can come in here and you can change the number of days that this will go over, right? So if I had these scheduled dates here, so I've got these three lines all scheduled on one date, and let me do this. Here's the one. Here's the job that we're looking at out here right now. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. So Roger Rabbit, Will Jones. And so you can see, let me come over here to the calendar. So you can see that we've got these two different, this job scheduled on 2 different days now, the Sunset Project 5. So this would be line number 1 is going on this date, the 4:30 date, right there. And then we have all these other lines that are scheduled to go in, line 2, 3, 4, and 5 on this other day. So if I came back to that job and I scheduled this line right here to go over 2 days instead of 1 day, the one with all the 5 lines there, right? And then I come back to my calendar view over here. You can now see how this has been scheduled over for more than 1 day. Okay. So at least on that one line is scheduled for more than 1 day. Part of them are only scheduled for 1 day. So you can see that you can spread things out longer if you need to, depending on the project. Okay. So those are the main features. And then, obviously if I wanted to log in as the installer and only see his stuff, then I come here, I can log out, and I can do, I have a username and password for that installer that I've given to that installer, and I have him type in his own username and password, and then you can see that he would only be able to see his jobs now instead of all the other jobs that were up here at the top at the same time. Okay, so that's how you'll give it out to your installers. Now, your installers are probably going to want to do this on their own phones. There is a way to put the shortcut, this shortcut up here, QConnect, QFloors.com installer view, on their main window of their phone. When we send you the setup documents, there's some instructions in there on how to do that. But I would suggest, them taking their own phone right here, making a shortcut right on the thing, so all they have to do is type on that. In fact, I think I have one here. Should have done that before I did this. Right here. Comes up to installer view, right? And then if I just did that, you can see that it comes, I just typed on that shortcut, comes right up to this one here. I logged in as a different installer, but they would be able to see their stuff right on their phone, just like that. And so that's kind of what Installer View does. All right. So, let me answer a few questions here, then we'll fly over to QFloors and show you how it works in QFloors. Where there'll be a document link or a document viewer of some sort implemented in Installer View in the future. This would be for installers to see the floor plans and those features for work orders, for pictures, for floor plans, for all that kind of stuff. That will be coming in QPro. Okay, so all the advanced features for all those kinds of things, advanced scheduling, pictures, floor plans, sign in, sign out dates, or times, when they're on the job, to be able to track their hours, to track where they are, taking pictures when they're done. Those will all be features that will be coming in our QPro project, our product, which we're making great strides with that. We expect still to have a beta version out within the next year and a full version out before the end of 2025. So just to kind of give you an idea of what this is, kind of an in-between feature to allow your installers to start to get used to some of this stuff and to allow them to see what their upcoming projects are. Currently, events only show on the start date and not the duration of the job. That has changed. You can see how I just did that. So if you've been using this already, if you just go into, you should have it on your version right now. If you'll just go up to the top menu, go onto your jobs list here, and what happened? Did I get logged out somehow? I might have. Let me log out, log back in here. Admin. Okay. So if you'll come up to your jobs list here, and you hit on this edit button, you can change the job length to number of days. So we just went over that. So that is in the current version of software that you have now. Will the installers only be able to see their jobs and not what the job pays? They'll be able to see only their own jobs, and you have the ability to select if they see what they're going to get paid or not, but not what the no information on what the customer has paid or what you're charging your customers. So you have the ability to show them what they're going to get paid or not, but they will not see anything of what the customer is going to pay or what you've charged them. You've talked multiple dates. Let's see, you've talked about multiple dates for one install. How would you add multiple dates to an invoice? We'll get to that in just 1 second. That's a QFloors thing. Do you schedule this in Installer View or in the cell screen and QFloors? Cell screen and QFloors. So I'm going to get to all the QFloors questions here right now. Are you going to show how to add jobs to the install? All right, that's another QFloor. All right, so let's go to QFloors, because all these questions are, how do I add a job onto here, right? So let's get over to the QFloors part of this, and then I'll finish up the questions afterwards. So if you're in QFloors, the way that you add a job in the Installer View, it's all controlled from QFloors. Nothing's on the website. You can't go up there and change the dates or anything on the website. It is all done from here. Okay? So the only things that you can change on the website is a short description and the name and the number of days that it spans. So if I'm on my this project here is the one that we were looking at right now, this Will Jones Sunset Unit 5 right here. So there's a couple of ways that you can change things. So if you want to change just one day to be different on one of these lines, you're going to come in here, right click, and then you would come down here and you can see that this delivered date is 4/30, right? On the next line down, the date is 4/25, and so you can see over on the calendar over here that this 4/30 is this one right here, right? 4/30, and then all the rest of them are on 4/25, and we took one of them that expanded over 2 days instead of one. Okay, so you can see kind of how that's working there. Okay, so that's where you're going to set it, is inside of QFloors, is right click if you want to make it more than 1 day. If you want everything just to be on 1 day, you just come up here to the next install and you can say that I want everything to be on a certain date, right? So let's just say 0420, like that. I got the right date in there like that. Push OK. It'll go down, let's see, it'll go down and change all the dates in here like this, okay? And then, I'm just hoping that I did this right. I'm sure I probably did, right? So if I come back here and do a refresh, you can see how this put everything on the 20th and then one of them going over 2 days still. Okay? So that's how you control how things are getting scheduled, is by changing those dates. Okay? So, let's see here. So it's either on that or, on that one line there, or up on here on the next install date to change them all to a different date. Either one of those will do that. Now, the information part of it, that's going to get changed differently. Whenever you change the status of a sales order, so if it goes from proposal to order to ready to completed, that updates all the data down in here. Also, if you make a payment, it will update all the data down in here. Or if you change this next install date right here, that will also update all the data down in here. Now you can see that there are other conditions where this would not get updated. The reason is because of speed. Let's just say that we had 100 lines on this sales order here, and it all needed to get updated. Well, we don't want that happening every time you go to do a save on a sales order, or it could, make it a lot slower. So that's the reasoning behind it, and that's why we've done it the way we've done it. So those are the ways, though, that you can force a refresh of the data that's in the body of the invoice, and then that corresponds to the data that when you click on one of these over here and you bring up the details like this, where this data gets updated. Okay? All right. So that's how that all works. So now let's, and by the way that you're going to set this up, we're going to send you all the setup instructions in an email. I'm not going to go through how all the settings to get everything else set up. I just want to make sure that you know how this is all going to work. Okay. If installer, I'm going to go to the questions now. If installer view does this update the cell screen in QFloors? So we just answered that. Is there any way to designate multiple days on QSched and have that? No. So good question. So let's talk about QSched. QSched updates the dates here, and the dates here will then get updated out on installer view again. But if the one thing that we don't have right now, and we don't have any way of doing it, is if QSched is out multiple days, that does not transfer automatically up into installer view. You would have to manually go do that still in installer view to show that it goes over multiple days. The reasoning behind that is that QFloors does not have a multiple day feature inside of it right now, and this is what we're going off of. So the updates go from QSched to to QFloors to installer view. It's in that chain of events. Okay. All right. Next question: Can the installer expand and see the details? Yes, the installer can expand and see the same details that you can see in installer view. Correct. Can we hide the job details and just show the schedule for those dates? Currently, we cannot. Currently, the installers see all the details also for what they're going to be doing. I think that you kind of want to give them an idea of what the scope of this is going to be, right? So we could talk about that later, but right now you don't. Can you print out the schedule for day, week, and month? Ryan, I'm going to have you, I think you can just print out from your browser. If you're right here, you can, anything that's on the screen here, you can go ahead and just hit the print button and it will print. So I would say, yeah, you can come back and you can come to your jobs list right here, list it by date or however you want it, do your filters, then you can go ahead and hit the print button. I haven't actually done it, but I'm assuming you can. Ryan, have you tried that? Do I have Ryan? Did I lose my Ryan?
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Have you tried printing these screens?
I haven't, but like you said, so with any browser, you can just either on the right hand you click that little menu and just print what's on your screen. Or Control P.
Yeah,
we don't have any formatting to print just specifically the day, week, or month, but if whatever's on your screen, you can print just through the browser.
Yeah, because you can do from and to dates, right? So you can, right. You can filter this and then format it. You can sort it by however you want and then print it that way. Okay. Will this basic version allow a single document attachments? No. We went over that already. The next version, our Q Pro version, will have those more advanced features. When updating the dates on a specific line items in QFloors cell, if the line was scheduled in QSched originally, will you need to change the dates in QSched rather than updating the cell? So I think that what they're saying is we're going to start using installer view right now, and we've already scheduled all this stuff in QSched. How do we get it to go up into account or installer view without redoing things in QSched? The way that you do that is if you'll just come up, and even though it's been scheduled in QSched, if you change this date, like say to 4/26, and then push enter and hit the save button, it will automatically change it back to 4/25 because it's in QSched, but it will update that information in installer view. So just change this date to a different date, hit the save button. It will change it back to 4/25 automatically because it's in QSched, and it will update the information in installer view for you. Okay, good question. Are salespeople able to have a login to installer view or just one admin and the installers? There's always just one admin for installer view. So you really can't mess that up too bad. I mean, I guess if somebody were to go in and put things over multiple days, but you really can't change a lot in there. But there is only one admin login. So I guess that's the answer to that question, is that they would only be able to. There's one admin, so if you want more than one person to see that view, they would have to be also an admin right now. Will the ship to address be, I left the ship to address actually out on purpose so that you're not using this as a work order. And that's just because if somehow the data is not completely correct right now, like I've already gone over it, and people try to actually use this as a work order, I don't want to be liable for something not being right. So it's my fault that it's not on there right now. maybe if we feel more comfortable with it in the future, but that's the reason I haven't put actual addresses on there. You can actually go into the, if you wanted to do it yourself, you could go into this in here, and in the description, you could add the address in here if you wanted. But for right now, we're not going to do that. It was intentional that we left it out. Okay. Is this mobile viewer friendly? Yes, I think you already saw that. It's designed to be used with a cell phone. Can installers mark days off on the calendar? Can installers mark days off on the calendar? Not in installer view. I'm thinking in QFloors. Yeah, I don't. I mean, there might be a way to do it in QFloors. I don't know the answer to that question. Currently, we don't have a way to mark days off. You can do that in QSched or some other scheduler. If you're using this with some other scheduler, like QSched, for example, you can mark days off. And that's, if you want that advanced feature, that's how we would suggest that you do that. If you put a job in for 4 days and it starts on a Thursday, does it schedule it over the weekend or exclude them? I think it goes over the weekend. Ryan, you can tell more about that. Does it go?
Yeah, it does. Right now, it is just going just straight through calendar days. So if you schedule for 4 days, it'll just go right through the weekend.
So if you want to schedule 2 days on the next week, you would have to calculate in, add the 2 extra days. So if it's really a 4-day job, you're going over the weekend, you'd have to put 6. Okay? Will QPro allow for installer confirmation and two-way communication? Yes, we already have in QPro, we already have a one product, it's called QSched, that's already connected to QPro, and I think we have some people already using that. I'd have to check to make sure, but there is an integration that's already there in QPro. And it has pictures, it has all the advanced stuff that you would think, and it is connected to QPro. All right. Those are great questions. I think I got through them all. Hopefully, if I didn't answer something properly or enough, please reinsert the question. We are going to now transition over to what we call customer view. Okay. So in customer view, let's see. It's basically the same type of thought pattern here. We have, let's see here. Where am I at? Actually, we call it account view. I'm sorry. It's brand new, so I wrote down the wrong thing. We're calling this account view. Okay. And the difference is at qconnect.qfloors.com, it says account view here instead of installer view. But really, it goes to the same place. And you can use the same admin username and password that you use for installer view to get into account view. Okay? And when you get up into this website, you'll notice that in the installer, or in the menu down here, it's the same exact menu. We just have 2 additional items down here. Okay? The reason we have a different landing page is for your customers, because this is intended for your customer accounts instead of installers. And like I said at the start, this would be like for multifamily housing or somebody that, maybe they're doing 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 or 50 jobs a month with you. Who knows, right? And each one of those is a QFloors sales order. And it's hard to keep track of, hey, what's the status of this sales order? Did I pay for this one? Did I not pay for this one? Is this one in process? Where are we at with all of this? So it's just designed, that's what this product is for. And so you can actually see that you would be able to see the statuses of the jobs that are in QFloors, and your customers would be able to have their own username and password, each individual customer, to be able to see their jobs and the status of their jobs, right? So let's go through this real quick. There's a setup screen just for the customers in here. Again, there's an add button where you can put the name of the customer account in here, the user ID, which again, I would use an email address or a phone number here. Yeah, that's what you would use there. Password, again, don't make it too complicated. This is the one part right here, the customer account number. This is the customer account number from QFloors. So if you come to the setup screen up here, go to customer accounts, and you can see the customer account number right here. This is where you would come in here, copy this, and then you can paste that customer account number back into your setup screen over here. Okay. And then you would submit and add this customer. So you can see that this customer account 1761755 right here. And if I come down to QFloors, it's the same thing, right? Customer account. And you can see that's this customer account right here. All right. So that's how things are linked together in here. Okay. And then I think you also saw that there's this orders right here. If I just wanted to see my John Stockton ones, I can just click on that like that, and it would come up just to that user account, right? If I wanted to see my other Jones account, I need to get into the right date ranges here. So this would be all dates, and now I can see his project, his customer account. So it's just really a filter here where you can look up and the admin can see everybody's. But if you're just logging in as a single user, right? So if I log out of here and I come in here and come in as an actual customer now, let's see if I can get the just like this. Logs me in. If I did all dates, I would only be able to see my own stuff here. And you can't select a different customer account. So this would be how they would be able to see what your customer would actually see. Now, the useful information usually here is going to be the total of the cell, the amount of payments, and the balance on each of these, right? And you can sort by any of these columns. So you could sort by outstanding balances and things of that nature. That's all doable in here. But more or less, it's just to help them keep track of what they've paid for, what they haven't paid for. Right now, we don't have details about the payments. It's just the total payments that they've already paid. Okay. One thing to make clear, only the jobs, once you sign up for customer accounts and you get this up and going, or customer view, or account view, I mean, once you get this up and going, only the jobs that you're refreshing and putting in currently will be the ones that are showing up. Okay? And the refresh is the exact same as the installer view. So if you put a payment in, it will refresh it. If you do the next install date right here, that would refresh it. Or if you change the status, that will also refresh the data. So the refresh points are the very same ones as installer view. Okay. So that's how this thing works. And we have another product called QOrders for multifamily housing that this could also kind of work in conjunction with. So there's kind of a dual purpose here for people that are doing multifamily housing, that this could be a feature. I would not use this for customers that you're doing jobs for once a month. You could, but to be able to manage the usernames, passwords, all that kind of stuff, you probably want somebody that's doing significant business with you. Right? Any questions about that? This is account view. Pretty simple the way it works. Oh, so here's the thing. If you already have an installer view account, you already have account view. So no need for signing up for this. If you sign in right now, you'll see that you have all of these. Well, if I go back to this one right here, you'll see that you'll have these on your installer view menu automatically. Okay. If you want to sign up for installer view or account view, either one, if you are using QPay, these features are free. You get this user account for free. All you have to do is you have to email the following email address. And I guess I will just kind of put this up here, like right here. Let's see. This one right here. Sorry. I had it right here. billing@qprosoftware.com. This is where you want to go. And you just email them and say, I need a new installer view account or account view. And again, you only need one or the other and you get both. Okay? So you only need one or the other. And if you just email, and if you already have QPay, we'll email you back the instructions, all the setup instructions, how to get going on it and get you going. Okay? If you are not a QPay customer, it's $1,200 a year to have these features added on. You have to pay for it all up front. So it's basically $100 a month, right? That's what you're paying for. If you have a ton of installers, it's more. So that gets you 10 installers, $100 a month. I think it's every 10 installers up to like 40, it's another $50 a month, something like that. So that's the cost of it. Okay. All right, let's get to some of these last questions. Will we be able to limit what certain customers can see through the on account view? They can see anything on their account. So any sales order that you've linked to their account that has their customer account on it, so you can control what they can or can't see by virtue of their customer account. So if there's something that you don't want them to see, don't link it to their customer account. Okay? If you need help signing up with QPay, they can email me. Our sales department wants you to email them if you want to sign up for QPay. Good one. If customer has account view and sees that they have a balance, can they pay right there, or do they need to contact us for another paying link? Well, they can't pay right there. No, they would. There's certain information. That's a good idea, though, right? Like we should put. Ryan, write that one down. Put a Pay Now link on. Put a Pay Now link on the that web page right there. We should have a button that then they can go over and pay their account right there. Good.
And we'll put Crystal's name right below that button so everyone knows it's her idea.
The Crystal button, we'll give her the credit for it. I don't see any reason why we can't do that, right?
Yeah, we'll take a look, but I think we should be able to.
That should be a go on that. Very good suggestion. Okay. I think that is all of the questions. If there are no more questions, that's all I had for today. And great to have everybody here. Great to see everybody again. It just seems like I've been on the road so much and I'm trying to recover from it all. But I now have the summer. I took a family vacation last week and now we're back to it. So good to see y'all. Look forward to seeing you all at all the shows this upcoming show season. You know, we've got Shaw, Mohawk, Surfaces. We've got, other things coming up. So look forward to seeing y'all. Alliance, Abby. So thank you all. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.